would like just to conclude, just to make maybe just 2 points, or to raise 2 questions. For instance, one is the referendum that was just voted now in December. Chavez took great pride in saying that the articles of the referendum were the product of his own handwriting, that it was his own decision to create that kind of thing. Of course, there were many articles that then were added to that by the National Assembly. But one of the reasons that if we want to reflect on why the referendum failed is maybe because there wasn't enough popular participation in the process of the formulation itself of the referendum. So if the ideal which Chavez has established since 1998, and I heard Chavez when he gave his opening speech in the electoral campaign of 1998, is to create a participatory democracy, that would seem to me that imply that people have to participate in the decisions that affect their lives, participate in the decisions, for instance, about the referendum, the articles of the referendum, etc., etc. So I think that maybe we have to think about what is the connection between certain ideals that are being expressed and the practices through which those ideas might or might not be realized. Another example I want to point out is the example of petroleum. Venezuela is an oil-exporting nation. I think both Steve and Greg mentioned economic policy. But, if you think of being, like if this is your household and you depend on petroleum, petroleum is the essential aspect of Venezuelan economy. So my first question was concerning, democracy. To what extent is this a participatory democracy? How can we make it more participatory? My second question, and which is connected with that, is petroleum. And my question would be, to what extent are Venezuelans aware of participating in the decisions that affect the petroleum industry? Maybe the policies themselves, concerning the misiones, concerning education, health, etc., are very good. But my question is, to what extent are Venezuelans participating in the decisions that affect health, education, or if you want, the heart of the Venezuelan economy, which is petroleum? There are all kinds. It's a very complicated industry. There are all kinds of decisions that have been made in Venezuela about transformation, as Steve was saying, partial nationalization of enterprises, but also, for instance, transformation of contracts of technological assistance in a major set of areas into changing those contracts, which were highly damaging to the economy, into another figure, which is joint ventures. Now, this happened in Venezuela during the Chavez period, and I don't think there was enough public discussion. This is what, if you have a house in which you depend on cows or on chickens, well, the whole household have to decide, well, what are we going to do with chickens? Are we going to buy more chickens? Are we going to produce eggs? Are we going to sell them as meat, or what? Well, the same thing happens with Venezuelan petroleum. And Venezuelan people, I don't think there is not enough public discussion about Venezuelan petroleum policy. So, for instance, there are some people in Venezuela who argue that this movement towards joint ventures is a process of denationalization. Chavez presented it as a national triumph. Some people argue that it is not. I am not here concerned whether it is one or the other. Maybe Chavez is right. Maybe it is a national triumph. What I'm saying is that there's not enough public discussion for that. And what I would like to see more in Venezuela is discussion about central things, issues that affect the Venezuelan economy. So I'm giving two examples. Petroleum, the heart of the economy, I think there should be more discussion. Such issues as the referendum, which Chavez lost, I think there should have been more discussions, national discussion of the articles of the referendum. Why that? Because I think that that's part of what the left is about, which is create conditions within which people can decide what kind of society they want to construct. Not to have someone else tell them, this is a society that is good for you, maybe the decisions are very good, but it should be us, everyone, who participates in the process that determine the conditions and the kind of life that we want to have. So I guess my question to both the discussants, and I'd like to open up, maybe contribute to the discussion, is by putting on the floor that the question of evaluating Chavez is what are the criteria of evaluation? And for me, as a person from the left, it seems to me the major criteria would be to establish the conditions that deepen democracy, understood process of radical democracy, in which people actually have the word. El pueblo tiene la palabra. Thank you very much.